The anti-seed oil movement has exploded across social media, wellness blogs, and fitness forums, with passionate posts warning that oils like soybean, canola, sunflower, and corn oil are silently wreaking havoc on health. Claims range from promoting chronic inflammation and accelerating aging to causing heart disease, obesity, and autoimmune conditions. The rhetoric is intense, almost cult-like, framing seed oils as the ultimate villain in the modern diet. For many followers, avoiding them is presented as a near moral imperative, part of a larger effort to detox or reclaim natural health. But when you dig deeper, the narrative is riddled with exaggeration, selective science, and misinformation, and the trend carries real risks for people who make drastic dietary changes based on fear rather than evidence. The movement often centers on polyunsaturated fatty acids, or PUFAs, particularly omega-6 fats. Advocates argue that high intake of omega-6 triggers systemic inflammation, oxidative stress, and chronic disease. There is a kernel of truth here. PUFAs are chemically reactive, and excessive oxidation can be harmful in certain contexts. But the claims frequently overstate both the risk and the relevance of omega-6 in isolation. Controlled studies repeatedly show that when consumed as part of a balanced diet, seed oils do not directly increase markers of inflammation or cardiovascular risk for most people. In fact, replacing saturated fats like butter or lard with PUFA-rich oils has been shown in numerous trials to lower LDL cholesterol, a known risk factor for heart disease. Despite this, anti-seed oil rhetoric frequently ignores this nuance, creating a sense of urgency and fear that is disproportionate to the actual risk. The social media amplification is a major driver of the trend. Platforms reward dramatic narratives, before and after photos, seed oils will kill you headlines, and cherry-picked studies create the illusion of a scientific consensus that doesn't exist. Influencers often portray olive oil or coconut oil as inherently safer or more natural, yet they omit the fact that these fats also have limitations. Butter is high in saturated fat, which in excess is linked to cardiovascular issues. Coconut oil is almost pure saturated fat and can raise LDL cholesterol. Even olive oil, while generally healthy, is calorie-dense and prone to oxidation if heated improperly. The movement frames seed oils as uniquely dangerous, ignoring the reality that no dietary fat is a magical solution or a universal villain. The overall pattern of calories, quality of fats, and nutrient density matters far more than demonizing one category. The consequences of overreacting to anti-seed oil messaging can be substantial. People may dramatically increase intake of saturated fats to replace vegetable oils, inadvertently raising cholesterol or creating imbalances in their fatty acid intake. Others may adopt extreme elimination diets, cutting out packaged foods without adequate planning, which can reduce intake of essential nutrients, fiber, and vitamin E, which is abundant in many seed oils. For teens, young adults, or anyone with underlying metabolic or cardiovascular conditions, these drastic shifts may do more harm than good. Some followers also overconsume exotic oils, avocado, macadamia, or walnut, believing them inherently anti-inflammatory, without considering total caloric intake, price, or oxidation risks when oils are stored improperly. Another critical problem is the spread of pseudoscience under the guise of evidence. Anti-seed oil proponents often cite in vitro studies or rodent models as if they directly apply to human health, misrepresent observational studies, or selectively highlight oxidative chemistry while ignoring the body's natural antioxidant defenses. The result is a distorted picture that encourages fear rather than informed decision-making. People become convinced that common foods are silently poisoning them, fostering anxiety around meals, guilt over standard cooking practices, and an obsession with food quality that is psychologically draining. Seed oils are not perfect, and moderation is wise, particularly for highly processed versions high in refined omega-6 without antioxidants. But framing them as the root of modern disease is misleading and scientifically tenuous. The real risks lie in extreme dietary reactions to misinformation, skewed fat ratios, over-reliance on saturated fats, nutrient deficiencies, and unnecessary stress around eating. In the end, the anti-seed oil movement thrives on fear, oversimplification, and social media amplification, rather than balanced nutrition science. For most people, incorporating a variety of fats, olive oil, modest amounts of butter or coconut oil, and yes, even seed oils, within an overall healthy diet is far safer and more evidence-based than subscribing to the dramatic, all-or-nothing prescriptions promoted online. The trend also distracts from broader, proven approaches to cardiovascular and metabolic health. Diet patterns like the Mediterranean or DASH diets, which naturally balance PFAS, monounsaturated fats, saturated fats, fiber, and micronutrients, consistently outperform any single anti-seed oil strategy. Obsessing over one ingredient risks missing the forest for the trees. The anti-seed oil craze may feel empowering, offering a simple enemy to fight, but in reality, it is a shortcut to misinformation, unnecessary dietary restriction, and potentially harmful choices that undermine both metabolic and cardiovascular health.